like to talk about the first oil crisis and how it may have affected you.
We also call it the first energy crisis because of the supply of the gasoline is getting less. People started to feel that they cannot get gas all the time. So what it ended up is that we have to line up at the gas station to get gas. Sometimes the line is as long as the block. It takes for a long time. But the problem persists, so it ended up that we have to do an alternate day to get gas. So that is the odd even license plate to be eligible to get gas. And sometimes we have to limit the amount of gas you can get, maybe 5 gallons each time. Okay, it lasted for a while, and the price for the gas also went up quite a bit. In the beginning, we were enjoying the low price of around maybe 25 to 30 cents per gallon of premium, and then it went up to $1 or so. That was a lot high. It affects everybody, of course. At the minimum, that we have to pay a lot more for a tank of gas that way, and then we have to also plan our trip so that we won't use up too much gas too soon. Of course, when we have to go to work, drive a longer distance, not much we can do. And people start to carpool and doing all kinds of things trying to help. And we even get a 5-gallon can and get gas to save it at home, which is, of course, is not a safe thing to do.
So, like the prices raised, like how like the gas prices are raising now in America.
The scenarios to me seem to be the same. The oil, when the crude oil price goes up, then the oil company will start increasing the price from the gas pump. But then when the price for the crude oil drops, the price doesn't drop as fast either. So it just stays up there. So every time, so I think that's how we end up with paying so much now. Also, one thing that came out of it is that people also with developing the what we call it, the more efficient, gas efficient engines for the cars. Around the same time, we also, U.S. government of California also put in effect on a more restrictive exhaust control, the environmental issues. So at that time, so that's how Japanese cars got popular, because it's smaller and more gas efficient. The American cars takes a lot of gas with the V8 engines. The action that the U.S. car makers do was just to add ons to the old engine, so to meet the emission standards. But that also make the gas mileage get worse, and all the engine life is shorter. So eventually they have to start from scratch to develop the clean engine for the cars.
Do you want to talk about the Hearst daughter and like what happened?
I think in the early 70s, actually, I think in 73, something like that, around that 73, 74, and there was a group of people. They called themselves some Liberation Army. I forgot the name, but they kidnapped Patricia Hearst. Hearst is the newspaper magnate. She's the daughter of the owner. Mm-hmm. And that they kidnapped her and then demanded to the Hearst company, instead of paying them money, they have to pay gets, I think, a few $1 million of grocery and give it to the poor. Patricia was never released for a while, and they stayed. And she was under their control for a long time, even after the Hearst paid all the demands. At one time, they even see her help the people rob the bank in Brooklyn. I think.
So did she like convert to like the other people's side?
It's actually hard to say whether it's converted or it's not converted, because she's obviously under the control of those people who may take her life or something. So she has to actually do what they tell her to do. But of course, later on, after she was released and recovered, the government, of course, sued her for the action in the bank robbery, saying that looks like she might be voluntary in some of the action. Actually, the effect on the society, of course, at that time, it was a big shock to see such high profile kidnapping, and also the strange way to pay the ransom.
Can you talk more about the group that kidnapped her?
I think they call it the Simonese Liberation Army or something like that. It's a group of people who claim that the injustice in the societies, they try to help the poor, something like that. But eventually, I think nothing really much came out from the act.
So it wasn't like a major deal.
No, it's only a highlighted high-profile kidnapping at that time, and also the length of time it lasted for a while before they actually got Patricia out of the trouble, because of the way they requested ransom, like the grocery pack. There are so much money, and have all the people lining up to get grocery. All that is kind of different.
To talk about the Silicon Valley growth and what that was?
I think the first group that at that time we have, I remember the HP had come up with a calculator. It's an LED calculator, and do all these things that the normal calculator does, like scientific calculator actually is. So you have all the scientific functions in there. And then we had the Apple and the IBM developing the computers. Actually at that time, one of the company that makes all the chips and all that is Fairchild. Fairchild at that time was pretty front forward in the development of the ICs. And then a lot of the other big companies like Intel, the National Semiconductors, the other companies that were spin off from the group in Fairchild. So they came out and then they start their own company, and that's the spirit at that time in Silicon Valley. Everything in the computer industry is concentrated in the Silicon Valley. And then we have the Apple computer comes in, the IBM, and of course the IBM, the route that IBM computer goes that gets very popular because it allows all the other people to use the programs right for them, so making everybody available for programming. And so as it goes, the IC industry developed. It flourished in the semiconductor in the Silicon Valley. But of course, later on, when the technology people start spraying out because of the labor cost in Silicon Valley is high compared to others, the companies go to other states to start up companies, and also go to Asia and all the different places. Eventually, the manufacturing all moved out of Silicon Valley and went to different places like other parts of U.S. and also in Asia, as well as in like Taiwan and Korea, all that. Only thing left for them is some major companies like Intel, but even Intel is not really the major manufacturing is still overseas, outside of Silicon Valley.